Hey, what is going on, guys? DK. Back at you with another video here to bring in the 3-game NBA main slate on Thursday. Let's hope this one goes better than previous playoff slates, because we've had like one or two good playoff slates, but other than that, it's been ugly with a bunch of blowouts, foul trouble. I wonder what it's like to not deal with foul trouble. Insert the "it's been 84 years" gif. We'll go over my lap in a sec, but ugh. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Sorry for tilting already, but my name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings, and I also make videos for NBA Top Shot. If you're unable to watch these YouTube videos, I also upload on Apple Podcasts. Link down below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you are interested in signing up for premium content, I offer that on patreon.com, an esports package. It includes COD and CSGO, Call of Duty and CSGO. And we got CSGO slates every day, Call of Duty slates 4 times a week. We got Call of Duty starting tomorrow, and then also offer an NBA package. I do want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring this episode. So if you're not familiar with Prize Picks, again, they will post fantasy scores or fantasy projections. You can either take the over or the under. I think there's an edge here, especially in a game that has potential for blowout like this game does. It's a 20-point game at half. This is for fourth quarter, so you can if you think this game blows out, we just take the under in all these stars, right? Because if it's a 30-point game going to the fourth, these guys aren't going to play. So they're still up here right now. Obviously, when I upload this video, they won't be. But just look out for stuff like that, because I think there's an edge to that for sure. And then obviously they have full game. So the stuff posted for tomorrow, let's see. They already have a decent amount. Yeah, they have a lot, actually. Wow. So let's see. I'm trying to think what kind of stands out for me. Well, these are looking pretty deep. I think they're doing a pretty good job in these. If you think that shoulder is still impacting Paul, maybe take the under there. He has not looked like himself at all last couple of games. So, and he barely touched the court in the fourth quarter of the last game. I think Jimmy's up there. So they've actually done a pretty good job here. Maybe take the over on Dragic too. He's been the most consistent piece so far off the bench for the playoffs. But yeah, you get the idea. So over under on Goran Dragic, 26 fantasy points, right? And they will post also single stats, so you can take over under on points, rebounds, assists, 3-pointers made. If you guys want to try it out, you can sign up, use the code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word, link down below. You will get a 100% match up to $100. So basically, if you put $100 in, you will get a free $100 or $200 total to play with. And before I hop in the video, just got to thank you guys for your continued support throughout the regular season playoffs. Again, we're getting a ton of new viewers on the live streams and the YouTube videos. So, again, 300 plus concurrent viewers in the live streams. We're getting 150 likes on each of these videos, which does, again, help me out a ton. So, even though we've had some bad variance playoff slates, hopefully that turns around for us. And, again, if you guys do enjoy this content, leaving the like button is the easiest way to support me. Also, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload videos, you know when I go live. I will be doing YouTube live stream tomorrow. Make sure to check it out. And again, let's try to aim for 150 likes on this one. All right. I guess before we talk about players and their prices, we can look back my lineup here from Wednesday. All right, so let's talk about this 3-game slate. We have Bucks Heat, a 226.5 over under. The Bucks, 1.5 point favorites. Suns, Lakers, a 210.5 over under. Lakers, 7-point favorites. And Nuggets, Blazers, a 227.5 over under. Blazers are 4-point favorites. We'll start off with Milwaukee and Miami. So Milwaukee has absolutely dominated that last game. They looked phenomenal. They just couldn't miss. Now, this one's in Miami. It might be a little bit different story here, but Giannis Antetokounmpo at 10.9K. He's been playing really well last couple of slates, last couple of games, and he's playing massive minutes, right? So 40 in regulation. He was on pace for probably 40 here, right? In the regular season, he was averaging 32 to 34 minutes. So the price really isn't moving on Giannis. I think once again he looks like one of the better spend-ups of the slate. Now, if you're not getting to Giannis, I think settling for Middleton or Drew Holiday is perfectly fine. Middleton had a 4-game last game, but Drew Holiday, first couple of games, 43, 47 fancy points. I think they're both solid plays in the mid-range. Value-wise, we got DiVincenzo, we got Brook Lopez. Again, in a close game, we should get about 30 minutes for DiVincenzo, which I think makes him a fair play, right? Fine filler option. Probably not going to kill you. Probably not going to go out and get you like 40, but again, he has a decently high floor, kind of a do-it-all guy. And then Brolo, again, like he should play about 30 minutes in a close game. Again, doesn't have insane upside, but these are two guys I think are actually pretty safe value plays as long as the game stays competitive. I mean, the reason they didn't get their last game obviously was the big blowout. Bobby Portis is a contrarian value play. Don't hate it because he's a good point per minute guy. Expect somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes from him. No, I'm not chasing Bryn Forbes. If you want to go back to the ball, sure. He shot 8 of 12 in 20 minutes. I mean, he's a decent shooter. He's just got to hit his threes. So if he's not, he has a floor of 2. And I said the same thing about Davis Bertans, right? And Davis Bertans was like 30% owned. People chased it. I was like, hey, be careful, right? He's got to hit his shots. Did you see that Davis Bertans stat line? 6 fouls, no points, and like 2 rebounds in 24 minutes, right? Like that's what Bryn Forbes can do if he's not hitting a shot. So just know that if you play him, that the floor is super, super low. On the Miami side, so are we going to get an aggressive Jimmy Butler here? This is basically a must-win game. That was so frustrating to watch that last game. I kind of just throwing it out the window, though. I really like Jimmy, again, hoping he actually comes through for me this time because the 8.4K price is way too cheap for a guy that, if this game stays competitive, should play about 40 minutes, and he needs to be super aggressive from the offensive end here. So I really like Jimmy at 8.4. Again, I think he's one of the better plays of the slate. Bam at a buyout 7.5 has really not looked good last couple games. Now, the price is somewhat appealing. I still would just much rather get to Jimmy Butler, though, for a little bit more. I think Bam is still fine as contrarian option. Hero, I'm not touching right now with the minutes. Again, I do think, I mean, if he comes off the bench and shoots well, that they'll leave him in there for more run. But right now, he's just really struggling shooting the ball. Again, Dragic, I think, once again, is a pretty safe play with upside. Should play about 30 minutes on the bench. I do like Goran Dragic a decent amount there. He's been popular the last couple slates in the higher dollar stuff, and I agree. I've played him both times, and I'm fine going right back to the wall once again. Now, Ariza, and he's basically like a Robert Covington, right? They both did absolutely nothing in the last slate, but, he should play about 30 minutes. And, again, besides that last 7 fantasy point game, normally is a guy that can go out and get you like 15 to 25 fancy points. So, fair value. Duncan Robinson, more the high risk, high reward. Again, he's got to hit his threes. You saw what a guy like Duncan Robinson can do, though, right, with Joe Harris the previous slate, where he just was unconscious from 3. Like, Duncan has that type of upside. So, yeah, I don't hate it for GPPs. Kind of done at 4-3. I think we only get about, 20 to 25 minutes. He's not been playing well of late. Probably not. I'm not super excited about it. Now, one guy I do want to mention. I mentioned the last slate. I was like, hey, Dedmon is a decent point per minute guy. If you want to use him in the large field stuff as a contrarian value play, I don't mind it because he's a guy that can go and get you, good point per minute guy. Now, the reason I actually don't necessarily think it's chasing with Dedmon as opposed to Forbes, I think it's chasing, because with Dedmon, a positive that I saw, I don't know if a lot of people notice this, they played Dedmon alongside Bam Adebayo for a little bit there with Jimmy Butler. So, will we see that again? I'm not sure. We haven't seen that at all in the regular season, those two playing together. But we did last game for a little bit. Dedmon played alongside Bam Adebayo. So if he has potential to do that again, then I actually do have some interest in Dedmon. So this one's a tricky one, right? But he's at close to min price. If you want to roll the dice on Dedmon, I'm perfectly fine. Now, don't expect 30 plus again from him. But again, the positive I saw was he did play a little bit alongside Bam Adebayo. Moving on to Phoenix and the Lakers. So again, I'm staying away from Chris Paul. I mentioned I didn't trust it at all. I'm taking a wait-and-see approach. And he's still, that shoulder is really bothering him. So I don't understand why, he's kind of just uses a decoy out there. So I'm just not touching Chris Paul. Now, with that being said, with Chris Paul, being limited, I think Devin Booker makes for a pretty good play at 8-1. I know he had an off game last game, but I do like Devin Booker a good amount there. It was actually Cam Payne that really stepped up when Chris Paul, just got limited. Do I expect this from Cam Payne again? Not necessarily. Like, I would rather get to Booker, obviously for like $3,000 more. DeAndre Ayton, I still think is a safer play. It's just the minutes, right? He played 42 in regulation. 42 minutes. Now, my one worry with DeAndre Ayton watching that game is, like, the offense doesn't really run through him at all. Like, where he got a majority of his points were, like, nice drives to the paint by, like, Paul, Payne, Booker, and, like, dumping off to Ayton for easy dunk. So, like, I could see him busting here, I guess. But, for a guy in this range that's going to play about 40 minutes, as long as he's hit out of foul trouble, I do think he is one of the safer plays on the slate. Mikal Bridges, I'll probably pass on. Again, Cam Payne, so it kind of depends on how many minutes you think Chris Paul plays. If you think they really limit Chris Paul to like low 20s again, then I do like Cam Payne. But who knows? Maybe the shoulder's a little bit better for Chris Paul and he plays more minutes and Cam Payne gets limited. So again, tricky one here with Payne. Just depends on how you feel about Chris Paul. Jay Crowder got in some early foul trouble. That was super tilting. We played him last night. He still got you there, though, even with the foul trouble. I once again think he's a pretty solid value play at that price. For GPP value play, don't hate Cam Johnson on the bench, but I would rather pay a little bit more for a guy like Jay Crowder. Now on the Lakers side, LeBron, AD, both under 10K. Decent options, even though it's not necessarily the best matchup. I don't think either are must. We'll talk about stars in actually the late game. I think maybe have a little bit more upside. But yeah, 39 minutes for LeBron. You saw, I think, like 40 for AD. They did play a little bit with him at the small ball five, not a little bit at the small ball five, not as much as I would like to see, but he still had a big game. So yeah, both the Lakers stars are firmly in play here below 10K. Drummond, you know the deal by now with Andre Drummond and the Lakers. Super high risk, high reward play. You can go there, though. He's below 6K. Again, I wouldn't touch in a cash game setting. Schroeder's a safer option. Should play over 30 minutes, but doesn't really have upside when AD and LeBron are healthy. No thank you on Kuzma. KCP has been awful shooting the ball last couple games. 2 of 9, 0 of 4. But, again, the minutes should be there for him. It's just whether or not he hits his shots. Caruso, probably 20 to 25 minutes. More of a secondary GPP value play. And then they actually went to Gasol over Harrell. I know some people took a shot on Harrell. I was like, hey, be careful, right? The Lakers, they kind of rotate these centers. So it was Gasol last game. He actually played decent. I mean, just if you play one of Harrell or Gasol, you got to be prepared for DNP. It's possible. So that's the risk with both those backup centers. Let's finish up with Denver and Portland. This is, I think, my favorite game to target. We'll start off with Nikola Jokic at 10.7K. I think makes her a really solid spend up. Should play 35 plus minutes. Yeah, I like Jokic a lot here at the top. Now, MPJ at 7-1 also looks so underpriced, and he busted. He was 7K, was like 80%, and he busted the last slate. But yeah, this price is too cheap, right? This is too cheap for a guy like Michael Porter Jr., so I think he once again stands out as a really solid play. Campozo is fine, but the issue is, again, I prefer the value guards and guys like Monte Morris and Austin Rivers. Monte Morris on the bench, played 30 minutes. Look good. We know he's a decent point per minute guy. I like Monte Morris again for value. Now, Austin Rivers most likely doesn't pick up 4 fouls in 20 minutes again. So if he stays out of foul trouble, we probably get closer to 30 minutes. So Rivers, Morris, once again, I like for value. I think Aaron Gordon's a fine secondary play. Should play about 30 minutes. Good matchup. Good with it. Off the bench, it's probably just Millsap for GPPs. He was phenomenal. 2 fancy points per minute. He's not going to be that productive, but when he plays the 5, he is a decent point per guy for sure, but don't expect 2 fancy points a minute for Millsap. So, all in all, I think he's a fair value play that probably plays 15 minutes and can get it done. We saw it, 30 fancy points in 15 minutes last game. So, probably not going to touch anything else in the bench. Michael Green's not been good. Marcus Howard, I'll pass. Shaq Harrison got even in the rotation, so I don't really want to mess much with the bench. All right, let's move on to Portland. So, I mean, right now he is just a scary fade. He is just a scary fade. I know Denver switched up. They went to Aaron Gordon on him, but and the price isn't moving on Dame. I like him a good amount here. Again, it's just this is playoff Damian Lillard. He is really turning it on. I think he looks like one of the best plays of the slate. I really like Dame. Now, I do think Dame's going to be popular, and I think that will lower the ownership of a guy like CJ McCollum, but I still think the 7.3K price for CJ is a little bit underpriced too. So, I like both Portland guards, and knock on wood, if he stays out of foul trouble, I like Yusuf Nurkic a lot. But, unfortunately, just that last game, 3rd, 4th foul right away to begin the second half, and then a 5th and 6th right when he comes back in. So, knowing my luck, The last 6 or 7 slates, I've had at least one player in severe foul trouble. So once again, I'm leaning towards maybe playing Nurkic. So that means guaranteed foul trouble, and you guys should avoid. But in all seriousness, like if Nurkic stays out of foul trouble, he's going to play over 30 minutes. He's a great point per minute guy. The question is, can he stay out of foul trouble against Jokic? And Powell and Covington were just god-awful last game. But, with that being said, they are going to play big minutes. Powell, 35-plus minutes. Again, he's got to hit his shots. Robert Covington had literally 1 fancy point at half. Finished 12 fancy points in 37 minutes. It's like a 0.3 fancy point per minute for that last game for Rocco. He's not been good in the offensive end, but they kind of need him out there for defense, so fair value. Melo was also just awful last game. Basically everyone for Portland besides Dame was just terrible. Cantor's at 3.8K. I mean, he's a decent point per minute guy. If you think Nurkic gets in some foul trouble, you can roll the dice on Cantor. He's been surprisingly pretty bad, though. 15 minutes, 6 fancy points, 18 minutes, 11 fancy points. Like, normally Cantor's like a really good point per minute guy. So, he's at a price point where it's like you can take a shot on him for tournaments. And, Simons, 15, 20 minutes probably off the bench. Don't really think it's necessary, but they should run an 8-man rotation, so I guess I don't hate it. All right. That is going to do it for the video today, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I would really appreciate if you would like button on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos you don't live. Again, I will be doing YouTube live stream tomorrow, and let's pray for no blowouts. Let's pray for no foul trouble, no injuries. That would be nice. Some good variance would be nice for this 3-game NBA slate. So that's all I got, guys, and I will see you all tomorrow in the live stream.